Earlier versions of query-based reporting allowed you to build your own reports going back to 7.1.1.4. 7.6 added calculations and summarization, among other things, so that you could do more. As an example, what if you wanted, say, the total cost of work, and that total happened to be made up of actual labor, material, and tools? You could even include services if you had that. So you have this new calculate tab. You also have a summarize tab. You can find the fields you want, select them, add them into an expression. You can give it a label, and you can test that expression to make sure that it is actually going to be valid. Doesn't mean you'll get any data, just means the expression itself is actually valid. Once that's confirmed, you can then add the expression onto your report. And then this field will then become available on your report for view in the report itself, as well as for print and download. Uh, Going forward, as a matter of reference, just to make sure you can actually continue to do this, and you'll probably want more details. So there is at least a wiki page. It's going to temporarily be available. Um, at some point, apparently, it is now slated for removal or move to a new place. So there is a message, which I literally just found today as I was recording this, and it looks like it'll go somewhere else. They just don't exactly know where. But at any rate, on the page, you have access to demo recordings and videos. It gets you much more in the details of what is available to you with regards to the query-based reporting and references, even for older versions, and the report object structures, which are key and critical to building the query-based reporting, as well as custom result sets on your start centers. So just keep that in mind that that information is out there and available. All right, let's get back to the PowerPoint, and we won't be here that long. Let's take a look now at summarization capabilities. In similar fashion, you can select the fields that you want to count, total, average, minimum, max, and so on, and then go ahead and have them added onto your report, which they will appear then in the group headers. If you don't have any grouping on your report, then you'll just get these values for the entire list of records that you have. And it's just something to keep in mind, since the work order number, you can't count the number of work order numbers. The work order number is not an available field. You have to use one of the available fields that is available to you for summarization. So in this case, I counted the disable field, which appears on every record, and then just relabeled it. So you have that flexibility as well. Thing to keep in mind, you have this cancel of course, run and save or preview. You always want to preview until you're really comfortable with the report. So when I preview, I get my report. Let's make this a little easier to read. On the left side, we have our summarizations that are in place by the grouping. On the right-hand side, our calculation actually included the individual fields here. But you can do that if you want to manually check the math and make sure it's behaving properly to get your total cost of work, or whatever your total is in that particular case based on your calculation. And if I look at what it's going to look like on the printed side, and I see I have a little bit of a problem here. Total cost of, just doesn't appear. So fortunately, I hit the preview and not run and save, because I can go ahead and actually change this directly. And more importantly, the where clause, saving the where clause with the query-based report by default. If you run and save, then whatever it was, whatever the check status was, it's locked into that report. You can edit some things in query-based reporting, but that's not one of them. So if you've locked the query into your report, it's there, and if you want it out, you just need to delete it and create a new report. So, or you can duplicate it. But the thing to keep in mind is that you want to preview first. So once I've previewed, I have the ability to go back and fix it. And let's take a look at how that actually works in Maximo. So I've got a report that I've partially completed. And so we have our numbers here, and in fact, a few more. On the calculate side, we've got our calculation. And let's just go ahead, preview, see what it looks like. I've actually decreased the total number of fields left to right, so hopefully everything fits better. So it looks like total cost of work is there, but when I go and look at the version that's going to show up on the printer report, as you can see, still truncated. So with that in mind, I'm going to get out of here, and we'll lose that tab. We will go back here, see total cost of work. There's our pencil to edit the expression. And let's go ahead and give it a little bit there. We will add it back in. Let me see our spacings here. I'm going to go back to style just for reference. Save application query to the report. That's the checkbox. If it run and save, whatever its status is whatever its status will be. So if it's checked, it'll be checked, and when you go to edit the report, it'll still be checked, and you cannot undo that. So again, it's just something to keep in mind. And when in doubt, just preview. Take a look at it, make sure it's what you want. Go all the way to what it's printed looks like, and in fact, you may want to actually just print a page or two just to see if it's behaving properly. All right, so now we'll load this up, and we can see our total cost of work is actually going to show up in its entirety. And our work laws, I just picked with some costly work orders, just so you'd have something to see in terms of the numbers, since of course it is demo data. And I think that's really about it. So the main thing to keep in mind is preview that report. Thanks.